I know. Use me to see the world get
Well,
better.
Yo, I think you already screwed
be
up.
so wonderful.
Da, da. Live life.
Life be there. I know how
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
get
get
there,
there.
and it feels
It's so
so
wonderful.
wonderful.
It's all time. I'm telling you, just don't let me out.
Oh,
Oh,
up to blah 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 blah
it's
blah
all
blah blah
the
blah blah
thing.
blah 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 blah. Stop! Ew!
Oh,
It's
fuck
time
no.
to
That shit
stand
was.
up.
Ew! Get that out of my screen!
Every
There's no
situation.
way.
Bro, I said I'm done.
All right, welcome everybody
Oh shit! What up, everybody? To
Welcome.
The podcast,
to the latest episode of the Cul-Ture-Sac. Sorry. I'm very hyped today. The Cul-Ture-Sac podcast. This is the latest episode. There's so much to talk about this week. Specifically, there's this little movie coming out. Actually, no. Before we talk about that, I'm
Little?
sorry. Yeah,
Hey, Marco,
very.
can you?
Of course, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can stupid hear you. As you guys already know, I'm Marbo. I'm one of the hosts. I'm one of the members of the Cul-Ture-Sac podcast.
A founding father, one of the founding fathers.
One of so yeah, I just want to say I'm very excited to be here. Puerto Reaper. I want you to introduce yourself.
Israel.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I think there's so much I don't even know where we could start, honestly. I mean, last week was dominated by PlayStation Showcase.
Yep.
And then we saw that was more of a bigger dud than fucking the new Star Wars trilogy that came out. So I definitely feel like we could look forward to more things this podcast. So with that being said, let me pass it on to another member of our podcast. He goes by the name of
My
Jeremy.
boy, thank you. How's
Jeremy.
everybody doing today on this lovely Friday night? I hope everybody's had a good week. Like what Eric and Marco said, we got a lot to discuss about.
It's been such a good week. It's been a
It's
good
minus-
it's been a good and stressful week for me.
Why are you stressed?
I'm stressed because apparently there's this little movie coming out. Well, it came out already as of today officially, but we won't be seeing this until tomorrow night, unfortunately.
4 hours.
Yeah, that little movie, the indie movie. I haven't heard much about it, but it's called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The last time I've seen the first one was 5 years ago. The first one released 5 years ago, Into the Spider-Verse.
Feels like it was such a short time ago.
It's weird because it's like it was 5 years ago, but it doesn't feel like 5 years.
I was just gonna say I didn't feel like 5 years. I feel like it came out in like 2020.
It's
I honestly
insane.
thought it came out like around that
I
year.
think it was just the pandemic that made us feel that way.
For real. It threw my time off.
It's
When did it come out, Marco?
2018, December 2018.
Wow.
It came out around like the time Aquaman came out. I think Mary Poppins. Funny enough, it came out around that Yo, you know what's crazy about it? The first one came out around the same time as a new DC movie, a DCU movie, a new Transformers movie, and a new live action remake of a Disney movie.
And I was able to stand in Bane with the rest.
And yeah, now we're kind of in the same position where The Little Mermaid came out last week. A new Transformers movie is coming out next week. And a couple weeks from now, a new DCU movie is coming out in the same month. So that's kind of insane. But as I said, this is a movie I've been kind of... It's a movie that... Well, the first one specifically. It's a movie that I wasn't really expecting to be all that great. Like, I saw the trailers and I was like, this looks fun. This looks like a very fun movie.
Creative.
Yeah, it looks like... I really did like the animation style, but I was never like... I never really thought this was going to be like one of the best movies of the year. And then I saw it.
Have you guys seen that? It has the same animation as Intergalactic on Netflix. It's actually really good. I watched that. And
Really?
from that animation, yeah, it's awesome. Is it Intergalactic?
Is Intergalactic good? I haven't seen it.
The one with
Intergalactic is interesting.
the one with Kid Cudi. Am I wrong?
I definitely think if you're a Kid Cudi fan, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. I haven't seen it, but I did see. I know what you're talking about because I saw this animation project with Kid Cudi in it, and it does look like Spider. But I've never actually seen I've never sat down and saw the whole thing.
It was really good actually. It really portrayed everything you thought Kid Cudi is in that movie. You know, being very spacey, very hip hop, very good vibes. It was a good movie.
Yeah, so I saw it and I was kind of blown away. It was that movie that you kind of didn't think was gonna be that good, and then it just ends up blowing all expectations out the door. I saw it in the theaters. Eric, the Puerto Reaper. Did you see it in the theater?
I actually saw it when it was on Netflix.
As did many people actually. As did a lot of people.
So the reason that I didn't watch it in the theater was because, like I said, around that time, I was being a little bit petty. As you guys know, I tend to be petty. And around that time, it was DC versus Marvel. And although the DC movies were more ass than a fucking McDonald's dollar cheeseburger, I still have to stay loyal to the product. So I went, I watched Aquaman, and even though it made it almost $1 billion, or I think it did, right?
It did. It made like 1.1 around there.
Yeah.
It was closer to 1.2 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a number.
So for me, that was the movie. I remember we went to go watch that, all of us together, randomly. We just were like, let's watch this at 9:30 at night.
I don't remember watching it though. I don't even remember if I was there, to be quite honest with you.
I think everybody feels that way about Aquaman.
Yeah. Aquaman.
Yeah. So I think for me, I watched this in my living room on a random Saturday afternoon with my family, and I was really surprised about how much you end up rooting for Miles, just because of the fact that people don't realize this, but as you guys know, I'm a huge comic guy. People don't realize that Miles actually was getting a lot of negative feedback in the comic.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He was really poorly. He was poorly written. It kind of looked like one of those characters where it was like a legacy character. They're just trying to get. It was a cash cow. They're trying to milk it, the Spider-Man IP, as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then this movie, Miles Morales just exploded onto the scene. It was like, now we've reached a point where obviously people think of Peter Parker as Spider-Man, but then your second thought in your head is Miles Morales. You know what I mean? I feel like we've reached that point just because of how much success it's had, because, it caters to... Miles is one of those characters where you find a way to relate to him the same way you can relate to Peter, which is what made Peter so powerful as a character. Like, to us as kids, was the fact that Peter, he was like the everyday regular guy who deals with the regular day issues that happen in society. You know what I mean?
Right.
The girl that he likes doesn't pay attention to him. She's into his best friend. Doesn't really have his parents around. A really intelligent kid. People don't really pay attention to him. And you kind of see that with Miles, where not the same sort of circumstances, but still similar in the sense that he's a kid. Yeah. He's had a lot of issues with his parents because of, and he lives in a house with a Puerto Rican mom, which is something I can relate to, and a dad who's a cop. So I feel like you found a way to connect to Miles in a different way that you weren't able to connect to in the comic adaptation, and I felt like that was part of the reason why he exploded as a character. Because let's be honest, all of us have Warner Brothers came out with a bunch of great DC animated movies that were very mature, very whatever. This was one of those first movies where you could watch it with your kids and not be bored in the theater, because it's for adults as well in a weird way. And I felt like that's why I felt like it was so successful because of that reason. And obviously, I want to know, Marco, since you saw it in the theater, what was your first initial thoughts after watching it?
Right. Oh, well, okay. Well, that was beautifully said. But as I said, I wasn't, I thought it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be something I thought it was going to something that was going to be, very cute. And because it was Sony Animation, and the movie they did before that was the Emoji Movie. So I wasn't going in with high expectations.
That was another thing too, yeah.
but I walked out of that. Like, I remember I was like, the first scene where I was like, this is actually something that can be like not just a good film, but an actual like great movie. Was that scene with Miles and his dad in the car at the very beginning, when they're just talking about like, oh, why am I here? I should be doing something else. Like, I want to be creative. I don't want to be in this academic school. I don't want to be doing this. And his dad's like, well, no, you have to. You don't have a choice. Obviously, they get into an argument, but it almost kind of, I stopped kind of like, it's funny because for a good while, I was like, I'm not watching a Spider-Man movie. It almost didn't feel like one for like the first, like after the initial introduction, like when they introduced Miles for the first 5 minutes, I was like, this doesn't feel like a superhero movie. This feels like I'm watching like an actual like a teenager movie, like of him trying to figure out who he is. That surprised the hell out of me. And I remember I walked out of the theater just blown away. Like, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, also there was a lot of things to it. The animation was first of its kind, which they showed a little bit of in the trailers, but when you watch it, you got more appreciation for it, especially in those action sequences.
Oh, 100%.
And also on top of that, the soundtrack was ridiculous.
Yeah, that soundtrack. It's not just the soundtrack, the score, like the actual score of the movie. Like the composer that composes the entire movie, like that was great too.
Yeah, and I feel like people have this thing where they misinterpret the idea that this is a Marvel movie, but this is a Sony movie, you know, and this is all based off of the ramifications of Marvel being in debt almost more than a decade ago, and then they sold a percentage of Spider-Man to Sony, and that's why Sony's still able to do these types of things. And I feel like for them, I mean, look, this movie, Marco, you know the numbers already. How much did it make already?
It made worldwide. I think it made nearly 400 million.
That's crazy.
Which today?
No. I'm talking about the first movie. The first movie, which is it's the lowest grossing Spider-Man movie. But that was because of a couple things.
To be fair,
yeah, go ahead.
You could argue, like it's something new. It's something that the fans, as an audience, they weren't used to, because it's like, it's not a live action movie. You know what I mean? Like it was something. It was like a new realm. It was something that Sony wanted to test out.
No, yeah.
Early enough, it went okay, but
you're actually correct. I think Jeremy's 100% right. It was because I feel like it was animated. Obviously, the fact that it was like in a crowded month, but I think Jeremy's 100% right. I think because people saw it as an animated movie, they kind of saw it like as a lesser project, which obviously isn't true. But that's kind of like the perception, because even like the animated Batman movies, I think Lego Batman did like 350 million.
I think this was one of those movies because, like you said, the Lego Batman movie, it was one of those movies where it was for kids. And I feel like when it comes to kids' movies, there's only so much you could do in the genre to get it to a point where it's like very historical numbers, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of felt like that's what Jeremy said is true, is the fact that I think people saw the trailers and they're, oh, this is Spider-Man for kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
I definitely do think this new one is going to be probably double.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to say 100 million to $1 billion.
Oh.
I think $1 billion pushing it a little bit, but I think 800 is fair.
I think I don't know. What do you think about $1 billion, Marco? You think we could get to that point? I feel like we could look at 800 million around there.
I do think 800 million. I think that's where I'm gonna. I want to say $1 billion so bad, because the word of mouth is apparently the word of mouth has been incredible for this movie. It's very high. Before we talk about Across the Spider-Verse, I want to know what Jeremy. I want to know if you've seen the first one. I want to know if first of all, have you seen it?
I haven't. I'll actually watch it tonight, because either way, I need to prep myself for the second movie. So
that's perfect.
Tonight I'll go on our gated website, and we'll.
You're gonna have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, this is gonna be a movie that like a lot of people saw this through Netflix. Yeah. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore.
Oh no, because once
I hope it clears my fucking my crippling depression.
Actually, it's not even on Disney Plus either, because it's Sony. I don't think it's on Disney Plus, because I have Disney Plus and I couldn't find it.
I know I mean, there are Spider-Man movies there now, like the original trilogies there. I don't know if Into the Spider-Verse is there yet. Jeremy, if you do get a chance to see it, definitely see it before we see the next one tomorrow. Yeah, definitely watch it and just let us know what you think. I think it's gonna be a movie that it's a movie that blew up through Netflix. It did have that Batman Begins effect, where it's that first movie that people didn't expect was gonna be that good. It turned out to be that good, and then people saw it through home video, or in this case, on streaming.
Yeah, which is crazy thinking about the fact that people actually had that reception of Batman Begins. Like when you think about who was attached to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean at the time, Christian Bale wasn't as big as he is now.
And Christopher Nolan, we're still getting.
Yeah, it's insane. For Across the Spider-Verse, now that we're in the topic, I think there is like a 20% chance it can hit $1 billion. And that's only through word of mouth.
And I think also what ends up happening is these movies leave theaters a little bit faster because everything goes directly to streaming sites.
Right.
So you can see that too. I feel like that affects sales. But we also have to factor in, let's be honest, it's going to make money, but the competition this month is crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, there's like a good 20% chance. Had it been a less packed month, I would have been like, yeah, this could hit $1 billion because word of mouth is so good.
Isn't Oppenheimer coming out later this month?
It comes. I don't know if it comes out this month. It might.
Comes out on the 18th
of June or July. I think it's July.
I think it's June or July. I want to say June though.
I think it's July because I know that Mission Impossible is coming around at the same time, and they're a little worried about.
That's another one.
I can actually check that for you.
This is literally
July 21st.
Oh, that's close to Camel's birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, so
is it exactly a week, I think.
Yeah, so I feel like this is a weird time because this kind of feels like pre-pandemic again, where it's like the summer movies. You know what I mean? But they got to deal with The Flash, which is a movie people have waited almost a decade for.
Yeah, and then that's another one.
And then you're also talking about Barbie coming out, which people, believe it or not, I know Camel's been hyped for it because he's a Ryan Gosling elitist. We all are a Ryan Gosling elitist, but man, that movie has a lot of hype behind it right now too.
Yeah, it's really good, apparently.
Yeah, so I feel like this is gonna be one of those movies that maybe it picks up it's gonna make it 700 to 800 million for sure. The opening numbers were pretty good. I think it already made 40 million or something like that.
I know that the previews, they said it's like at 17.5 million, which compared to the first one, previews made 3.5 million. So this is like a 5 times increase.
Yeah, for sure.
Opening day, they look to be making like 48 million opening day. So the projections, the projections, I think is around. Opening weekend is like 115 to 125 million.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think I meant to say box office weekend. It was meant to say 40 million. I think I fucked it up.
Oh no! Yeah.
We're gonna say. Do you guys think that because how well, No Way Home did? Do you guys think that because of that movie, people are also more gotten more into the Spider-Man craze? Because I'll be honest, since I've been born, bro. Spider-Man has always been popular. He's had his shows, he's had everything. He's had his games. Like as when we were kids, we had the Spider-Man games like Shattered Dimensions.
Yeah, Web of Shadows, all that.
Web of Shadows, a bunch of
figures, everything.
Yeah, but I don't think Spider-Man has ever been this white hot before.
I think the last time he was this hot was from like 2002 to 2008, around the time the original trilogy came out. That was the last time he was like very, very hot. He fizzled out after that, but then after 2016, when Holland entered the role in 2016 in Civil War, you can feel that momentum come back up again to what it is now.
I also feel like maybe because how Marvel's had a little bit of a cold streak lately outside of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I feel like, and Spider-Man came out a year and a half ago already?
2021, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people are so thirsty for something new and then also the people that are attached behind this project is amazing. Like Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara, that's something I'm so hyped about. Oscar Isaac is one of those people that he's so deep in his bag, he could play anything. Anything. He could be the bad guy in one movie, then he could be the guy you root for in the next movie. And I feel like now one thing that I'm really looking forward to is his portrayal of Miguel O'Hara, because let's be honest, Burnout 2099, it's a comic book from the 90s. Nobody really, it was okay. It's had a couple cameos in animated shows and video games and stuff, but it's not a character that people go, he's not on the same level in terms of popularity as like a Batman Beyond, from the future legacy character. So it looks like from the trailer, I know we watched it together, boys. He goes from working with Miles to then stop working with Miles. Right. I don't know if you guys remember that. That it looked like they were working in unison.
Right.
Now, I feel like maybe they flipped the order in the trailer, where I feel like maybe he's after Miles, and then he finds out everything, and maybe they sort it all out, and then they work in unison. So I feel like they put the trailer in reverse to kind of do us a dupe. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I still want to know, why is he after Miles, and why is everybody after Miles?
You know what I mean? That's pretty much the main selling point. That's what they've been showing everywhere in all the marketing, and in the posters as well. You see Miguel going after him. What's crazy is that I think 2099 is definitely my second favorite. My first is Peter Parker. My second one is 2099. Third is Miles. I think that there's gonna be, apparently there's definitely like a good reason why everyone's going after Miles for this one. But I've been trying to not be in social media as often. Every time I would open my phone, I would kind of like cover it up, and if I see spoilers, I kind of just click out, and just like, it's been very stressful because at work sometimes I just like I want to be on my phone or whatever, and not being on social media is kind of like, especially like at my job, it gets kind of boring. So it's like, no, I think there's gonna be a good reason why. I wish I can tell you what I think about it, because I genuinely don't know. I think it could be that maybe he wants to go back home because something happens.
Yeah, well, like that's why they're.
But to get him like this mad, because you can tell he slams him onto like a train.
No, he was literally chasing him. It literally looked like I was watching like a John Wick type of scene, bro.
That's the thing. It's like the word of mouth has been so good. In fact, I'm gonna run down a list of like what people are saying, but just the overall ratings.
We should go in Spider-Man suits tomorrow.
That'd be funny.
I wish we. That'd be funny. I also feel like maybe it also feels like when it comes to Miguel O'Hara, I wonder how well they're gonna do his character. You know what I mean? Because out of all the Spider-Mans, he's always been a little bit more ethereal. You know what I mean?
That's why he's never.
Yeah, he's not really your friendly Spider-Man. He's more of like, he has claws. You know what I mean?
And menace Spider-Man.
I'm gonna say this. I was at the gym yesterday, and the score of the film came out. Now I didn't listen to a majority of it. I only listened to like snippets, and I listened to his theme song. And holy fuck, I was like at the gym trying to like, I heard like 5 to 7 seconds, and I had like I nearly had an orgasmic experience before I had to shut it off.
You would have been kicked out the gym.
I was so hyped. I'm like, no.
You turned that into motivation to push those reps, right? And do your sets, right?
I listened for 7 seconds, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I have to wait till I see the movie.
You're like, my ears don't deserve this, bro.
No, I have to wait till I've been so fucking I've been so patient up to now, and I was like, I have to like wait until this movie. Like, it's been the longest week. But I want to tell you guys real quick just the ratings for this film across the board. On Metacritic, it has an 86, which is, I think it's the second highest for a superhero movie, or the third. I think the first one might be Black Panther. The second one is the first Spider-Verse at 87. The first Black Panther, I think, is at an 88, but I'm not really sure. This is at an 86. It's been hovering at 86 to an 87.
Right.
Metacritic has it as a must-see. So that's Metacritic. On Letterboxd, it is the fourth It's the fourth highest rated movie on Letterboxd with a 4.7, and the fourth highest rated in overall. 4.7 is insane.
What about Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes is at a 96% critic rating, with an 8.7 out of 10, meaning a whole bunch of people are rating it. The people who do like it are rating it like 9s and 10s, with an audience score of 97%. So that's insane. That's actually higher than the audience rating is higher than the first one.
I think, dude, let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
While you're going through these reviews, both of you.
Ask away.
So the first one was a little bit more. It was really more about like making sure you dive deep into the character of Miles,
right,
and those around him. You know, especially when you found out who his uncle is,
right,
which was the Prowler, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this one, from the trailer, I feel like we're getting more action in this movie.
Yeah, it's more. It's the scale is far bigger now.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard, I don't know if I'm right, but I heard this movie's a little bit longer than the last one as well.
Wait, it's like, yeah, I think the last one was like an hour and 40 minutes. This is like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is I think for Sony, they view this as literally putting out another movie. Like, you get what I mean?
Right.
This is just like an animated movie. This isn't a project to them. This is gonna be our movie of the summer that brings us in big bucks.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. It's and Eric, you brought up a great point of like Marvel and just superhero movies. How they haven't been as hot, specifically Marvel. You know, obviously with Ant-Man that came out, and that was.
I don't forgive Jeremy for that.
Oh yeah. If you guys don't know, Jeremy like really wanted us to see this movie.
Bro, I thought Kang the Conqueror was gonna be awesome, bro. And now look what happened.
He was kind of awesome at the beginning, but
then he kind of. I mean, it was good. It was I mean, yeah.
Jeremy called us from.
He's literally fizzling out.
An hour before the movie came out, and harassed us to go see it the weekend that it came out. And when I tell you, I shit you not, 25% of us fell asleep watching that movie.
I was laughing.
Even I fell asleep.
Oh yeah, Jeremy was like falling asleep, and we looked at him like, "Yo, this is the guy that like."
I'm not gonna lie, that's with like every movie most movies I go see.
Yeah,
unless if I'm like interested.
Because he gets hyped. He gets so hyped to watch these movies, and then you were sitting next to him, and he's knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it's funny. Out.
Bro, we always go mad late, bro.
Yeah. I do feel though like that Ant-Man movie felt like I was watching a Robert Rodriguez Spy Kids movie.
Oh my god, it was horrible.
The moment MODOK's little ass, bro. That shit looked like the fucking meme of Mike Wazowski in jeans, bro. That shit made me laugh so hard.
I don't know if you guys know. I was laughing for like a solid 10 minutes for like a good portion of that movie.
Yeah, because there was no need to show us that. There's just no need for that, bro.
No, it's like when Cassie when the daughter was like giving this motivational speech, I was just there laughing my ass off. I was like, what am I watching? This is horrible.
Yeah, and then fucking MODOK, like the way his head was built, looked like Mr. Electric from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
Badass head.
and then Shazam came out after, and people were like, yeah, what's going on? People were after Shazam came out too, was like, because it was like that, and Ant-Man is like, yo, is superhero movies like not doing good?
I feel so bad for Zachary Levi though. He always gets the shit end of the stick, man. Because the first Shazam was really good, but the problem with Shazam is, it's one of those characters where, his Black Adam is his biggest rival, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson didn't want to work with Shazam.
That's crazy.
He didn't want to work with Zachary Levi. And that's sad that you saw a guy who's literally been in shows like Chuck, who are like cult classics, to then get this big role, and then there was this plan of this bigger Justice League and stuff, and now he's on IG live stream begging people to watch the movie. I felt so bad for him, man.
It was a bomb, right?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it even broke. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't even know if it broke 100.
I think it lost money. I'm pretty sure it did.
The second one?
The second one lost money.
I really don't think. I think a lot of people were very annoyed with Ant-Man Quantumania, and then they saw Shazam come out, and it was kind of like, I can't do this right now. I can't do this right. I don't have money.
And people were like, "Yo, this is not like superhero movies are not." I feel like people were like really
Box office
considering.
133.
Yeah, it was bad.
It barely broke.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And then Guardians 3 came out and kind of like saved everything.
Yeah, and then it's kind of good because now we're in, like, I feel like we're reaching the better phase of superhero movies again. You know, we're getting the Flash.
Yeah, we have to reach through crap to actually get to the good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm really hyped about what they're gonna do with the Flash because people that were watched it already, oh my god, I know they had like a little soft release a couple weeks ago, right?
Something out.
Yeah.
So their budget, wow, this is really shocking. Their budget for the movie was 110 to 125 million, and their box office 133 and a half.
They lost so much money.
They barely broke.
That's that. I don't even think we're considering the fact that
wow,
the fact that they just, I mean, it looked like a Dungeons and Dragons movie. It was witches and dragons and shit. It just looked like, I just think it was bad timing. And, they hyped up Black Adam in the first Shazam movie. And unfortunately, that didn't work out for obvious reasons. We know who should not be named. But I also feel like, man, like back to this whole Spider-Man movie, I feel like we're reaching a point where we're getting so indulged with these types of characters, like these legacy characters, and the quality of life that they're getting, that we as fans are becoming more well-knowledged when it comes to certain characters, you know what I mean?
Right.
The amount of investment that Sony has put in Miles is amazing. And I also think it has to do with the fact that, Marvel, when people think Peter Parker and Spider-Man, they don't think the fact that Sony has a certain percentage of rights. Do you remember how a couple of years ago we didn't even know we were going to get No Way Home because Sony was doing this thing where, like, hey, look, you got to give us a certain number of sales on merch.
I remember.
And so I kind of feel like it's kind of nice to see these characters get these like the spotlight, and you're also seeing that with DC where they're like, oh shit, if we could do that if Marvel's doing that or Sony is doing that with these types of characters, we could do the same thing. And this is a perfect example. This right here.
With a dope ass shirt.
That's what we grew up on, you know what I mean? We grew up, for us, I as a kid thought Beast Boy was as popular as Batman, you know what I mean? Right. I was watching, they came out like a minute clip or like a 30-second clip of Spot robbing an ATM at a bodega or a convenience store, and it looked like the owner of the store was trying to like literally fight Spot with like a bat or something, and right. Spot wasn't trying to fight back, he was just trying to run away.
Right.
So I don't know, I feel like if he's like the real big bad, I feel like he makes a mistake that fucks up everything for everybody.
You think so?
Yeah, but because let's be honest, he could have easily sent that guy to like a fucking other dimension and he didn't do it. He was just running away. So I feel like he's not the big bad. I feel like there's kind of a swerve in this.
It would be crazy. It would be crazy if it was the big bad.
Like in the first movie where like they show Prowler, and then I remember when I watched the trailer for the first one, I thought Prowler was the main villain.
Right.
And then you got swerved, and then it was Kingpin the whole time.
Right. I mean that could happen. It could. Who would the villain be though? That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You got to figure out who the villain would be. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, isn't Sony? And then Sony's also coming out with that other movie that I'm wondering if maybe they'll try to connect it to this one, which is oh my god, they're coming out that Spider-Man movie with Lady Web.
Madam Web.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm wondering if maybe they try to tie this into that to make people to remind people of, hey, this is still coming out, knowing how Sony is.
They could make references, but I don't know if they'll specifically tie into live action with animation. But that is a good theory though. They could.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you guys, just so we could get the roundabouts, the round around here. What do you guys think? What is the first thing you're looking forward to the most about this movie, and two, do you think this movie is gonna end in a way that leaves us on a cliffhanger?
I think it's gonna end in a cliffhanger. I think it might end in in a cliffhanger, considering this is originally was set out as a part 1.
Yeah.
Part 2 coming out next year.
Yeah, which is also crazy because we got big news with Miles also being announced for a live adaptation.
Yeah, that's another topic we can discuss. That's another topic we can discuss about later. But yeah, 100%. I do think this is gonna end. This could be like an Infinity War Endgame, where it ends a certain way that gets you hyped for the next one.
I'd love it.
But I'm curious to see what what is in this movie that people are just so hyped about. It's getting a lot of people talking, and God, we have one more day to see. It's gonna be the longest day of my life.
124 hours,
so
man.
Excited to see this.
Oh my God. My sister just finished watching it, and this is her reaction. No effing way. In all caps. OMG. I'm effing. No, I can't. OMG. Like, holy shot.
Is she like spamming you with text messages right now? Yeah, she's spamming.
She's like, this is all caps. She is no effing way. OMG. I can't. OMG. Like, holy shot. I can't. She's messaging me more. OMG. This is the 7th message.
Yo, I would have thought Marcos' sister would see it before him.
She wasn't going to see it today, and then she's like, I'm hearing good things about it, so I want to go see it. So she saw it with her friends, and now she's like spamming me. She's still spamming me. Apparently, she's she's going crazy. So this is why I'm curious. Is like what is going on in this movie that's making people do that? Because it isn't just fans, it's critics. If you, I already like gave you the percentage of like, the critics is like a 96. So something happens. I'm dying to see this.
I wouldn't want to say a cliffhanger, maybe a twist into the movie.
It could be a twist. It could be a twist.
Crazy, something that you would never think you would expect in this movie. In my opinion, on a side note. I'm excited for how the score is gonna go out throughout the movie. I think that's what makes a perfect movie. If the music goes well with every scene and everything that happens, if it flows well.
I haven't listened to the album either. I haven't listened to the Metro album
either. I haven't either. I was actually gonna wait till I watch the movie.
The song with Future and Lil Uzi had me feeling like I was in 2017 again.
Are you serious? No way.
It was definitely a gym vibe. It was some shit that you listen to with the windows down.
I don't know if you saw my tweet on Twitter when Metro on Twitter decided to put like who's in this album, and he kept just spamming with like pictures of like who was in this album. Like, yo, this guy's making the Avengers. This guy's forming the Avengers.
Yeah. No, man, he's invested in this.
Yeah. Mind you, my sister does not care about Spider-Man in the least.
Marcos is so upset that he can't even watch this right now. He's like,
he looks so jelly right now. I can tell his face when he gets jealous. Yo, when he's jealous, his mouth opens up like that, and he starts smiling.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I was so like, I really couldn't wait. I was considering purchasing tickets for the day.
I knew it. I was
this close to be like, yo, is there an IMAX screening for like 5? I was like, yo, I think I can catch it real quick because I don't know if I can wait an extra day. Luckily, I didn't. We're gonna watch it tomorrow. That's gonna be.
We get off the podcast and then he's gonna.
My sister was like, "Are you asking if it's good? It's amazing. No, not even amazing. It's godly."
Oh man.
Okay.
That's hype.
Oh man.
Jesus. Okay.
And Marcos, he's struggling right now. He's about to, I'm getting up. Yo, is there 1 for 10:30?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait. But I'm gonna wait.
It's on the Gator website. You can watch it right now.
No, if this is a movie we're watching, because tomorrow we're watching it in the Dolby AMC screening, so we're watching it in the best picture quality possible. So that's how we're gonna watch it. Where's it at? Huh? Wow. No, you're good. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it in the AMC Dolby, so we're watching the best picture quality possible. So yeah, any final thoughts on anything before we move on?
We didn't get Eric's answer to the question.
Oh yeah.
What's your
Uh,
statement part?
no, I just personally feel that this movie is gonna be one of those where I feel like we're gonna root. I always like more than anything a way to make us feel bad for the person that we're not supposed to have sympathy for. And I feel like we're gonna start off with this movie extremely frustrated with Miguel.
You're right.
And the thing that I liked about him is how Hispanic they made him look. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
They made him look very Hispanic, and he's a
Thank God.
Hispanic character.
Thank
And
God.
but like in the comics, he was pretty white. Not gonna lie, like he looked like he could have been like another Peter Parker. You know what I
No,
mean?
they did it good this time. He's
Yeah,
Hispanic is where is where he should be.
yeah. So it was pretty cool to see that. I'm already hyped. I'm already thinking about like buying all the action figures from Miguel O'Hara,
Yeah.
like the Hot Toys one. I was thinking about buying the Marvel Legends one, the Funko Pops. So I was pretty excited for that. But yeah, I think we're gonna end this movie even more hyped for the next one, which is crazy to think it's coming out in less than a year already, because they said it's gonna be 300 days. It's
Right.
in 300 days. It's like June 24th. I think they announced the next one.
They've probably been working on it though.
Oh,
Yeah, I
for
know.
sure.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah. 100%.
this is kind of like
They're probably gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think this is gonna be a perfect. I also feel like because I feel like we're gonna get more action out of this, they're gonna try to find a way to still give you the heart twist, the way to twist, like pull on your heartstrings the way they did the first time. So I
100%.
think that's gonna happen. But for me, I already feel like this is always gonna. These movies are always gonna be a 10 out of 10 for me, just because the animation style is so unique. And but one thing I love about these movies that people really underrate or don't sometimes notice it is the color palettes they use to portray characters' emotions a lot better.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Whenever a character's sad, you tend to see like their actual skin is a little bit shadowy. There's like a shadow under their eyes. It's something that I really enjoy the most about these movies. I'm definitely gonna watch the first one again just to get myself a little bit more hyped. And on top of that, one character I'm hyped to see is Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, he's my favorite character actually in these movies.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm hyped for.
Um, but yeah, this is all we have, right? So far, we're excited. Tomorrow.
Hey, so far 1-for-1, boys. Don't forget when we gave our thoughts about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Remember what I said the ending was gonna be like?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was right. Marco was out here thinking there's gonna be some fucking Quentin Tarantino ending. He said everybody was gonna die. I remember that.
I was 1,000% wrong. I'll be the first to admit I was 1,000% wrong.
So yeah, so I can't wait for this movie. Yeah. With that being said, there's another movie that's been on our minds a lot, which is kind of another legacy style of characters, which is Transformers.
Oh my God, Transformers.
So I don't know about you guys, but as a kid, I was a huge Transformers kid. And I'm not talking about just the movies. I feel like people forget how many Transformers shows there were when we were younger. My favorite.
There was a lot growing up as a kid.
Yeah, my favorite series. What'd you say?
Yeah, there was a lot growing up as a kid, but I didn't watch all of them.
Yeah, I watched Transformers Armada, which was my favorite one. It was a series that was animated, and obviously it was animated. But one thing I enjoyed about it is it kind of kept like an anime style, and it was when they were finding a way to link characters like Jetfire and Optimus Prime. So do you remember in one of the Transformers movies where Jetfire and Optimus Prime form, like merged together, kind of like a fusion?
Yeah.
Do you remember that or no?
I do remember what you're talking about for sure.
That was the same. Isn't that the same movie where the same movie with Grimlock, the dinosaur?
The dinosaur. That was that the last night? I think.
Yeah.
It's the one
I think it was.
It was the one with Mark Wahlberg, right? I think that could be the last night.
No. The Mark Wahlberg one.
Last night, isn't it?
We're not talking about the live action. We're talking about the cartoon.
No, live action. The Mark Wahlberg one.
The live action one.
Yeah, so there's a in one of the movies, Jetfire and Optimus Prime merge. That's actually based off of Transformers Armada.
Oh.
It's one of my holy grail action figures. That's why I have as you guys see, I collect.
Right.
But for me, I'm really hyped about this movie just because of the fact that as you guys know, I'm obsessed with reptiles and fucking animals and shit. I'm just a weirdo. But for me, I feel like it's really dope to see. We've never seen two primes work together.
Yeah.
It'll be a weird but fun dynamic, I feel.
It's going to be a very interesting dynamic because it kind of feels like Primal's very disappointed in Optimus. You kind of got a feeling from that in the trailer based off of their interactions. And one thing I'm wondering is how the fuck did they hide in the jungle for so long? They're fucking big, bro.
I don't know. I am curious because the last movie was Bumblebee, and I really like Bumblebee.
Great, by the way, when they showed them on Cybertron, the war.
Yeah.
Cybertron, that was really, really dope. That was a great way to show some love to the original series.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle it this time. Because we did see in the trailer that there's like this massive like fight. That, I don't know if it takes place in like a desert or something. Like it very
nowhere.
Yeah, it does take place somewhere, and it's very cool. Apparently the reviews have been pretty good for this movie. It's been pretty good.
Which is good because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know he's made good movies like 13 Hours, but some of Michael Bay's movies, even the filters on his camera, they frustrate me, man. The guy's an arsonist. He is an arsonist. Everything needs to explode. Everything needs to be on fire. And I kind of feel like the original trilogy for Transformers, I enjoyed a lot, like the first three, but you could see Michael Bay's fingerprints on everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but that's always been Michael Bay, though.
Yeah, but for me, by the way, the movie I was talking about was Revenge of the Fallen. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay. In the forest, right? He was in the forest, and
and they fight. So if you guys ever get the chance, people at home, if you try to Google Optimus Prime and Jetfire, Transformers Armada, it's the coolest animated robot you've ever seen in your life. Like it's one of my favorite things ever, man. It's still one of my holy grail figures. It goes on eBay for like $300, $500. But so with this movie, one thing I'm looking forward to the most is the introduction of all these characters, just because of the fact that Beast Wars, if I'm correct, it was Beast Wars. It came out in the 90s or early 2000s, like 2000 or 2001. Right. And obviously animation is not where it is now, but man, I'm not gonna lie, that animation for that series looked like some shit you see on Cool Math. That shit it was brutal, bro. It was really. Do you guys remember when we'd be in school, they made us take those science labs on the computer?
Oh my god, with those kids.
And the aliens that have like a trumpet nose.
Oh my god, that? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah. No, it was just the animation was brutal, bro. Just brutal, man.
Oh my god.
It looked like Thomas the Train type of animation, but
Wow.
But for me, I'll be honest with you guys. I also like the fact that we're not getting a movie that's filled with Starfire and Megatron and all that. It's nice to have a different type of big bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
As iconic as Megatron is, I think one thing that we forget about is, when it comes to the Predacons, is they're just as vicious and they need to be viewed as a serious threat.
Yeah. For me, I really like the first Transformers movie that Michael Bay did. That's the one. That's still probably my favorite Transformers one. I know Bumblebee's really good, but something about that first one just really like struck a chord with me, especially as a kid. Especially with the ending music with "What I
enjoyed the Shia LaBeouf ones though.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the Shia LaBeouf movie era.
Actually,
Transformers.
LaBeouf died, right?
I'm sorry.
What?
They confirmed Shia LaBeouf died in one of the movies.
Oh no way.
Yeah, his character died off. Sam, he died.
That sucks. Off screen though, like it would have been cool if he died on screen, but
which one was that one?
I forgot what movie, but there was a scene, and then one of the directors or producers confirmed it, and it kind of makes sense just because you see Optimus Prime change a little bit, and Bumblebee, they become a lot more serious. But Transformers had a big impact on my life. That first movie was crazy. I saw it as a kid. Man, I got tickets. I remember for 6 o'clock. This is how long ago it was. at the Mall of America movie theater, where Mall of America was.
Shit!
Oh my
And
god!
people, if you guys are listening from home, whenever you think Mall of America, I know you guys are thinking the biggest mall in America in Minnesota. That we're talking about Mall of Americas, like Central America, North America, Latin America. That's what, yeah, that's what it's called. And they had a movie theater that they closed off and turned into a Costco. I went into that movie theater at 6 o'clock. I left at 9 o'clock because of how fucking long that movie was.
My dad used to tell me. My dad used to tell me that used to be the most hit place every Saturday night. Everybody will go out there and watch the movies, bro. When we grew up, bro.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I mean, that place was ratchet, bro. Not gonna lie, you could literally smell that arepas in the fucking mall.
Nah, bro, I can smell the feet fungus, bro. Like it's insane, and no, not the aspartame. What's that thing called? I can smell that wall, bro.
From the fucking rugs on the floor and shit.
Oh man, from all the years people be stepping on them.
Yeah, so I think for me, those movies had a lasting impact on me. I think it was weird because it was kind of like they were such big box office movies, but they were never critical cinematic successes. You know what I mean? It was always like it was like radio. It's like the same way there's radio friendly songs. It was like that was a movie theater safe movie. You know what I mean? Like it was gonna make money and it was just gonna be there, but it never felt more than that. Like some of the motivational like quotes of Optimus Prime are so out of pocket they don't make sense.
Right.
They don't make,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I think one thing for me that I really enjoyed though is when it comes to these movies now that Michael Bay is no longer involved with them per se, is I feel like they're trying to focus more on the actual birth of Transformers, like introduce these other characters, and I feel like that we can enjoy that because people don't realize that Transformers in the '80s was as big as Star Wars for kids. It was huge. There was adults watching it, and also I think there's a rumor that Unicron is going to be in this one, which is insane.
Wow. Because didn't they show like a small snippet of him?
Yeah. I remember being a kid. I had as a birthday gift. I got the Unicron from Toys R Us, which was like a 3-foot, 2-foot tall action figure with the whole world, everything around him. It was the coolest gift ever. But so more focus on this aspect of the movie. I feel like this is gonna be a movie that we're gonna enjoy, and I also like the fact that this guy from Hamilton is gonna be in it, Ramos.
Yeah.
He looks like he's gonna be pretty good in this. And I also want us to have a character outside of Transformers that we can really root for. I feel like there's just been a revolving door of characters outside of after Sam.
Right.
And all above. So Jeremy, I want to ask you, man. I know that you've seen a couple of Transformer movies. What's your opinion on this movie coming out in this? Do you know what day it comes out, Mark?
Oh my god! It comes out. It literally comes out next week.
Oh man, we gotta go to that one.
It comes out next week.
We gotta go.
I mean, pretty much everything you guys talked about, I have the same. I really wanted that. I want to know what Prime and Optimus. I want to know both Primes how they're gonna work in this movie, and I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to see also not the animatronics, the way that these robots are gonna move. Yeah, that's not well. I think the CGI is gonna work, bro. But I want to see how these robots are gonna like move around.
That's actually dope that you say that. They actually brought up. Somebody on Twitter was bringing up the fact that. Do you remember in the animated shows you could hear that?
Yeah.
Are they adding that?
They added but they added like their version of the OG sound, which was pretty dope. And actually, I don't know if you guys know this. I think one of the Transformers movies has the largest amount. I don't know if it was. They broke the record. I'm trying to remember.
For deaths? Is it deaths or something?
No, I don't know if it was live. If it was it was effects, but it was the most amount of CGI used on one scene or something like that. Oh. And I think transformation. I'm trying to remember, but they broke a record. But yeah. What were you saying, Jeremy? I'm sorry. I just got really hyped.
No, good. I'm also really excited to see how these like how the Transformers like how they're gonna be in the movie, like all the animals we saw. Didn't we see a leopard? We saw it was a leopard,
A
right?
whole bunch of animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leopard.
those are the Maximals.
The gorilla was fucking.
That's Optimus
Bro.
Prime.
Yeah, Optimus Prime, but he looks, bro. That guy looks insane. He looks so beefed up. It's like a juggernaut for like Modern Warfare 2, bro.
Yeah.
Warfare 3, bro. You just.
I'm gonna be so excited to get his action figures. So hyped, man. And keep on. I want to hear what you got to say, man.
I want to go to Target with you, and I want to go buy that.
Yeah,
I grew up watching Transformers, but like I don't remember all of it, but I'm just excited. Like I grew up watching it. I know you guys love watching it as Jits, and to be there with you guys is gonna be a treat.
I mean, yeah, mine is crazy.
It's crazy how like the Transformers movies have been getting like after Michael Bay, they've just been getting better, and they've been like this is a good thing because I know like the reception for them has been getting like you know, for sure with the Michael Bay movies, it's been getting lower and lower and lower. So to see like them do a soft reboot with Bumblebee and now this movie, and now with like I think the next one, I know they're gonna make like a lot more. It's very excited to see that Transformers now have like a brighter future, and isn't there an animated one coming out or no? Or
they actually have a series on Netflix.
Right. I do think there's gonna be an animated movie coming out for sure.
But, yeah, if you guys can, I'm begging you guys, try to watch one episode of Armada, and you guys are gonna be like, "Oh shit, I remember seeing that on TV as I was a kid."
I most probably remember watching it.
It was you guys don't understand, man. That show changed my life and how I like viewed Transformers. It was like for me, Transformers was like reached another level for me. So if you guys have a chance, watch it.
I will for sure.
I will for sure too. I'll watch a couple clips and I'll watch episodes.
But yeah, I'm gonna ask you guys. Outside of Transformers, I remember being a kid, and I remember we would always talk about Transformers was one of those things that would always like, if it got a real live action adaptation, it'd be so cool. For you guys, I know this was a random question, off script everything. I want to know, what is a IP, intellectual property you guys would want to see get the live action treatment that hasn't gotten it yet?
Oh, it could be anything.
Anything, literally anything. I already have an idea more or less of what I want. It could be anything from a video game, anything. What would you guys think? It could be cartoon. So
I think a Samurai Jack live action.
Samurai Jack, that'd be dope.
Fire. I think you can do something cool with it.
For
Especially
sure.
with the style. If you get a good director that knows all about style, that can be something special.
Yeah, and you bring up Gennady Tarkovsky still into that. You kind of bring him as like a that'd be dope. I actually think that was crazy, Marco. That was creative as fuck. The CGI is still possible. It wasn't like anything outlandish.
Yeah. I think that'd be a fun fun take for sure.
For sure. I mean, for me, they did it, so I have to take it back. I was thinking about Ben 10, but they already did Ben 10.
No, but like a good one. Like I know the Ben 10 you're talking about, the live action one, and I remember I was so excited to see that one.
Dude, remember Cartoon Network had like a premiere? They had a countdown at the end of the
I was
screen.
at the premiere and I was at the countdown, and I was so disappointed watching it. You don't know how terrible that was. Like, well, even as a kid, I was so disappointed. I'm like, what is this?
Now the animation holds up, man.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, I remember it's like, yo, when is this kid gonna transform, bro? I'm tired of seeing this kid like transform and fight.
Did you guys watch all of Ben 10 though? Like, did you watch Alien X?
I've watched the original, all of it. I've watched the original, the whole thing.
The original, all of it too.
I did watch.
The original's fire.
The
favorite.
But what was the next one after that?
Alien Force. Ben 10 Alien.
I saw like the first, maybe, I don't know how many seasons it had. Maybe I saw the first season, and then I kind of like I zoned out after that. It's just like, and now there's like a lot. I don't know how many series there is now.
Isn't there Ultimate X too?
Yeah, there's been a couple. There's been a couple. So what about you, Jeremy? What do you think? Because Marcos was pretty good. Samurai Jack would be pretty fire.
It could be anything. It could be from video
would be
games.
gas. Yeah, I was thinking about it. This is a tough one. I was just thinking about. I was looking at the Fairy Odd Parents. I saw that they did a live action thing, and
Oh yeah.
Nah,
that was so bad. Oh my god, bro, so
It could be an
bad.
anime as well. Like, is it like?
I'm gonna say a movie. I don't think. I don't know. Anime adaptations. It just depends. Like,
Oh yeah,
I don't think
I agree.
the Bleach adaptation was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It did well in Japan.
It's just I don't know. I feel like.
And One Piece getting adaptation.
One Piece one.
I'm hearing One Piece is bad.
Really?
I'm hearing the One Piece live action is terrible.
The cynical part of me.
You're just, yeah, I know you want to smile.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't work.
It's just.
For whatever reason.
No, the thing is, it could work. You just got to find the right person to commit to it as much, because if we can make superhero movies work, we can make it work. You just have to find the right amount of respect from a director, a producer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but most of the time we don't get that. So like it kind of just it's like when the movie comes out, like we're all like, oh my god, like, and then
my theories is that eventually, once we move on from the superhero stuff, I think anime is going to be brought in, because anime is becoming so westernized.
I think it's a video game adaptation.
It's been the most westernized it's ever been.
Yeah, and Marco said it's true. Video games is the next big thing. You know, I know Last of Us did so well. It was a critical success. It was huge, and I feel like I heard a while ago that Sony was trying to see about maybe getting a God of War live action.
I think they are gonna do it though.
Yeah, and that'd be crazy. But one show that I would love to see get an adaptation, like a cartoon. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember it. I enjoyed it a lot as a kid. It's very forgotten. It was called The Secret Saturdays.
Secret Saturdays. I don't think.
Exactly. So it was about a family. They were called the Saturdays, where they protected cryptids. So like cryptids like Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, that type of stuff, and they traveled around the world and had to protect all of them from this big guy coming in to try to take over the whole world by using cryptids. So that's something that I thought would be cool. But yeah, what do you guys have next? What do you guys think is next?
I was thinking of I think Call of Duty should get a adaptation. Do they have anything like a live adaptation or anything?
I know Resident Evil has. I just saw Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City yesterday, and that shit made me fucking cry out my eyes.
Imagine a Call of Duty one, and like you're able to have as much freedom as you can with the show, and you can do like.
I mean, Halo looks like Halo fumbled the bag. They took off Master Chief's helmet after 2 seconds, which was like
so.
Yeah, that's as big as a deal as like a Mandalorian taking off their helmet. What's another? There's a couple.
There's a lot that can have potential.
Resident Evil had it. Marco. I think that's gonna be the next big thing. Actually, video games. Another one that I thought would be good, video game wise, Infamous.
Oh, dude, I was literally gonna say that, bro. I was like, Infamous Second Son. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Infamous Second Son looks like it could be a banger.
That'd be awesome.
Infamous was the first. Those two were so good.
I haven't played the second one actually.
An anime that I think would work. Erased live action.
Oh, I think
they have an action already.
They did.
No, yeah, I think they do have an action. Oh, okay.
I think like in terms of anime, like Erased, yeah, you're right. Erased could work. Monster is another one that could work. If done right, it could be an incredible movie.
Monster would be dope.
I did. You can see stuff like that. I don't know if like a lot of like I Bleach could work. Naruto done right could possibly work. One Piece is what happened.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Look, you do Guardians of the Galaxy in space the whole time. They go to another planet. Naruto could work. It's just you got to find the right person with the right vision and the right love and investment towards it. You know what I mean? Lionsgate was working on a Naruto film like a couple years ago, and they scrapped it because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
I was so excited. You know? I was trying to keep up with that movie, but nothing came up of it, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. It's not gonna work. Yeah. You got to find the right people. If you give us to any directors out there, any studios, Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, Universal, just give me and my boys a cool $700 million check, and we'll make you the best movie possible.
$700 million.
We already got a cast, bro. We already we can hire our friends as a cast, bro. Imagine Melo and
Yeah, we just gotta go to Japan and do a bunch of casting because obviously they gotta be Japanese because you know what I mean. So yeah, but what was I gonna say? Another thing that I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about the revival of so many characters and stuff, I want to talk about the revival of the cult of personality.
Oh, so we're talking about AEW now. We're talking about the second son, the CM and CM Punk. That's what we're talking about.
They already announced it. It's official.
It's official. That's kind of crazy.
And
how long has it been? I'm curious.
It's been. I feel like, you know what's funny? We all watched that pay-per-view together. That all that happened.
Yeah, we thought it was we thought it was just gonna be like a normal pay-per-view. Nothing was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then that interview, and then the interview happened. Afterwards.
And then I saw the interview, and I was like, "Oh, this is." I was watching it live, and I go, "This is not gonna end well."
Which, by the way, that interview, like every time I watch it, I get hungry.
That blueberry muffin looks so fucking good.
It looks so good. And and he recommended where I was like, yo, I might take a trip over there to eat it.
Whenever we go to Chi-Town, whenever we go to Chicago, we're going over there.
I'm down. It looks so good and it gets me hungry every single time.
So far, I feel like I'm 2 for 2 on my predictions because I predicted he was coming back too.
Yeah, you did. It
was inevitable though.
I think you're right. So here's the thing, right? You guys all have a different relationship with CM Punk. Marco had so Marco one time surprised me because for Halloween he was a banana and our friend was a gorilla. And one time Marco had a yellow shirt under to match the banana costume. He takes out the banana costume. He's still clothed. Don't worry, he's not naked, guys. And he had a CM Punk shirt, and he had the yellow CM Punk shirt from like 2010, where it said like BTS on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I didn't know Marco liked wrestling, and that's when me and Marco clicked on wrestling.
Yeah.
And so we've been CM Punk fans for so long, so I know some people have a lot of... He's one of those people where you could talk about when it comes to, just in general, as a famous person, so many people have different... Like, the opinions are so divisive.
He's a controversial figure in wrestling.
Very controversial.
Personality.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE shows.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to ask you guys, because since we're on the topic, what has always been your favorite thing about Punk? The character, because it is a character, but it also ties into him as the person.
I think just him not caring about what people perceive of him or think about him, bro. Bro, when he was in WWE, dude, remember when he went off?
The famous.
Dude, that famous rant. Oh, I loved it. It was so awesome. There was a time where I would watch it.
You're talking about the pipe bomb, right?
Yeah, the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
That point where I would watch that like once or twice a day for like a couple of weeks. It was just so legendary. I think that was like one of the greatest like moments in Raw, in my opinion. It was unscripted. It was perfect. CM Punk was able to express himself in the way that he needed because I felt like he deserved it. And he just got tired. He got tired of Vince's crap, you know, like what most people do.
So actually, I feel like I'm gonna kill something for you guys right now.
Why?
So part of the pipe bomb was actually scripted.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you mean.
Part of it. I don't remember exactly, but somebody did say, I don't know, Road Dogg, Jesse James, or somebody went on a podcast and said that it wasn't actually a full-on pipe bomb because some of it was scripted. I definitely think he did go off on the end because, remember, they cut off his mic because he brought up, he brought up the Make-A-Wish shit. He goes, you want to know something about Make-A-Wish? And then they cut him off there. But, man... So, Jeremy, I can see what you mean. You like the fact that he's a very
He's just vocal. I like him.
Anti-establishment, always. That's his thing. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm going to do the opposite, which is what I want to do.
Right.
You're not going to tell me what to do. And what about Marco? What is your relationship like with how do you feel about CM Punk?
Well, CM Punk was always like he was a character that I always saw. Like I think back in 2008, 2009, like I've seen his matches, I've seen his mic skills. Obviously his his feud with Jeff Hardy was incredible. But he wasn't a character that I was like seriously considered as the face of the company. He was just somebody that was like, oh, this guy's just really entertaining, and his mic skills are great, and he's just somebody that I can like really just watch and sit back and like just get entertained by. But then it wasn't until like, well, no, I'll say before that it wasn't until he kind of became a commentator and he moved over to Raw.
Yeah, because he was injured and he had that injury, so he was just on the announcement.
It was around that time where like the Nexus was like at its peak, but it was from the Nexus to peak all the way to like it getting disbanded, where like you saw CM Punk kind of creep into that popularity, obviously when he was a commentator, and then when he kind of attacked Cena in the, he attacked Cena with a chair every single week, and then he became a Nexus member, and then through that is when the pipe bomb happened. It was crazy how much like you can see like that natural progression of his popularity skyrocket in 2011.
Yeah,
remember when he shaved his head, bro?
Yeah, and then it was crazy. Yeah, that was funny. I remember.
He shaved his head.
And then after that, the pipe bomb happened, but it wasn't until I want to say, and the pipe bomb was kind of the thing that really skyrocketed his popularity. I remember when that happened, everybody was talking about it. Like I think it was like in news and everything. Like it was a massive deal. And then the Money in the Bank match happened, and that kind of cemented his legacy.
Yeah, that was actually. So here's the thing, right? So he went. What you said was so perfect, Marco. It was kind of like, it was weird because remember he got the belt a couple times. He won the world championship a couple times, but it was still kind of like, it was like he had decent runs, but it wasn't like anything memorable up to that point. He was kind of like, what's a wrestler that had a similar start? Chris Jericho.
Right.
Kind of like he would win the belt, and then you'd be like, early on in Chris Jericho's career, right. It was like that.
Right.
Remember, before he was in WWE, he was this indie darling. He was in love with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor and CM Punk, you always viewed those two together. He was like the poster boy for their brand at that time period. So then my first memory of him was him in ECW actually debuting. And that was before he won the ECW World Championship. And for me, I always liked him, but I hated him when, storyline wise, he's the reason why Jeff Hardy left WWE.
Right.
I remember, if I ever see him, I'm gonna jump this guy, bro.
You know what's the funniest thing? You wanna know the funniest thing? The next week he came in, dressed as Jeff Hardy. He played his music, and then you saw like the audience members.
Just there was a kid crying.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I couldn't stop laughing.
He had the little pigs on.
Yeah, and then he was waving his arms and shit.
You can tell he was already tired. Like he didn't have the energy. He was like tired of it already.
No, I gotta find that video, bro.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. The kid crying was the funniest thing. I don't care.
And then like it looked like, I remember watching the pipe bomb live. It was so random because it was like, it was like CM Punk was on Raw, but he didn't have a real set position on that roster at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like right before the yes movement for Daniel Bryan started.
Yeah.
So like they were
one of the greatest movements of all time.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest eras in wrestling history for sure. But it was a weird time period, so it was like, oh, CM Punk, here we go with the CM Punk stuff again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we go from that to then it was like, oh, what's this version of CM Punk we've never seen before? And then you see the hot takes where he breaks the fourth wall. He goes, hi, I'm breaking the fourth wall. And then he goes, for you guys that don't know, I want you to know I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Yeah. And I remember I was like, oh shit, I forgot about Paul Heyman. And he comes out and with that promo, and then I remember Raw ended that night, and I go, oh shit, I'm in love with wrestling again. And that's why people love him so much. It's because he can make you fall in love again with wrestling like you were a kid. That's his best ability. Right. No one when it comes to Mike, on the mic, could go toe to toe with him, unless you are either John Cena or MJF.
Mm-hmm.
Agree,
That's my
100%.
personal opinion. I'm sure there's a couple out there that are great at promos, but
I mean, the GOAT.
So now that he's back, and is there like a confirmed like date when he's coming back?
Yeah. So when they announced his return on the latest episode of Dynamite, it was actually got mixed reaction. There was a lot of cheers and a lot of boos. Oh, so fun thing that was interesting was when me, Jeremy, and Camel went to go see AEW Dynamite when they're here in Miami.
Right.
Uh, somebody mentioned CM Punk. Somebody screamed out, "Oh!" Because Kenny Omega was wrestling, and somebody was being a troll. Hey, where the fuck is CM Punk? The whole crowd booed.
Oh wow.
Whole crowd. So it was one of those things where I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, because of that interview, that press conference, the AEW did take a toll. Like it took a hit. It slowed down its momentum, and then WWE picked up after that because Triple H was in charge of creative.
Right.
All that shit was happening, and it really affected AEW because I just felt people were like, "Oh, maybe not everything is sunshine and rainbows over there."
You didn't see the picture the other day of the crowd of the latest
No,
event, dude?
no, that's not real. That's
Real?
that's a hardcore camera. Whatever WWE does the exact same thing. They empty out that side of the arena, which is empty, so the camera could pan throughout the whole crowd. That's never full. WWE does the exact same thing. But yeah. So I feel like a lot of fans have mixed reactions because it's like, you're not gonna do this to us again. We had something really special going on, and you just came in and you did your bullshit again. Because it's kind of like, remember, he left on a really sour note.
Right.
Yeah, and I understand they gave him his release papers the day of his wedding. I don't know if you guys know that.
No, yeah, I know that. He talked
Yeah,
about it in an
And
interview.
you're getting married to AJ, right?
yeah, with Cole Cabana, which is which is why everything that happened in AEW happened, because they were mentioning Cole Cabana and stuff like that. But for me personally, I love the idea of him back just because I enjoyed him being back. Look, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Not everybody's gonna like everybody. He's obviously one of those people that he's gonna tell you who he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and if you don't like it, piss off. Um, I know he's had a lot of issues with people on Twitter. Like, he's had arguments with AJ Styles on Twitter. AJ Styles is my favorite wrestler of all time. Everybody knows this. But for me personally speaking, having him back is just good as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's gonna I do feel like there's a lot of storylines you can take with it, considering all the real life stuff that happened.
Oh my God! Look, let me tell you guys, there's so many matches we could get. Obviously, we're not. Look, he does numbers. He does numbers. When people are gonna watch when he's on TV. I remember one of his first promo with MJF was on top 10 trending on YouTube.
Yeah, people love the guy.
Yeah, and the thing is he's not the best actual in-ring wrestler. We know that.
Right.
He's not the most athletic. He's still somewhat athletic in general, but he's also good at what he does. He's good at his suicide dives. He's good at those GTSs. He's good at the Anaconda Vice. He's a really good wrestler.
He's great in the mic.
I think his mic work or his mic time is definitely going to shine more than his wrestling.
I have a soft spot for the guy. I think he's one of the best in-ring wrestlers of all time. When I say things like that, it's only because I've heard people on Twitter say these things. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't agree. I know he's had some issues, like he's had a couple botches or whatever, but the guy's in his mid-40s, and he hasn't wrestled in 7 years. This was his first year and a half back. It's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
ring wrestling is definitely going to be there, you know?
I do think he's going to come back as a heel.
I don't think so. I think it's too risky. I think it's
so?
too. I think because of
the way to go.
I think because if you were to bring him back as a heel, I feel like it becomes too real life.
Oh, I think that's what they want to bank on, though.
And that's the thing. If he comes back as a heel, what it does, it makes it seem as if everything that happened with Kenny Omega,
right,
was true from the rumored. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and we at the end of the day, we weren't in that room. We gotta give the benefit of the doubt to both parties.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. CM Punk could go pimp slap my fucking aunt, and I'll still forgive him. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I wish I could sit down with him, have a conversation, and go grab those fucking muffins with him in Chicago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to get those muffins.
Look, there's a bunch of wrestlers I could see him wrestling with. Me and Jeremy saw that luchador. He's one of the best luchadores in the world. His name is Bandido. I love Bandido.
That was so strong.
I would love to see that guy. That guy Marco, he held a suplex. He held the guy in a suplex position for 1 minute.
Oh, are you serious?
Yo, when is the next time they're coming down the East Coast, man?
They're all around the East Coast, but they're not coming down to Florida probably for a while. But yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to tell you was there's another guy. As you guys know, they have that big pay-per-view Forbidden Door, which is they bring people from New Japan to AEW, which is a big deal because there's a guy in New Japan called Shibata, where he actually stopped wrestling because he did a real headbutt on one of their wrestlers, and he actually got a hematoma inside of his brain. Well, hematoma is when you get a big ball where you see UFC fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got one of those inside of his brain, and he had to stop wrestling. Let me tell you guys right now, when you get off this phone, when we get off of this podcast, search up his theme song. It's gonna be one of the greatest theme songs you've ever heard in your life.
This goes for everybody watching.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm really excited to have him back.
What's his name?
I think it's Katsuyori Shibata. But he's literally like their version of Daniel Bryan in my eyes. He's a wrestler. His nickname is literally The Wrestler. That's his gimmick.
Wow.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler.
But yeah, but these are the type of characters that you could see, the type of wrestlers you see him going against. CM Punk back is good for everybody. It's good for the world of wrestling.
It's good for AEW. It's good for AEW.
It's good for AEW for sure.
I
think it's gonna help out with the ratings.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I feel this is gonna help AEW a lot. It's gonna help build that momentum that they need.
Especially him coming back in his hometown and him getting his flowers.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
this
is a big risk though because the show is called Collision and it's on Saturday nights. Saturday nights, everybody's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're taking a big risk in this, and also CM Punk is the roster that they have on Collision is gonna be a lot of wrestlers that haven't been able to get as much time as before. On Dynamite and Rampage, so I feel like, he was rumored to work with Samoa Joe. First, they were trying to get him to work with Chris Jericho again. I don't know where that went. Then they wanted him to go to Samoa Joe. Supposedly, he wanted to work with Samoa Joe.
That would be interesting.
He's had some of his greatest matches with Samoa Joe. Now they want him to work with a guy that I don't think. I know Jeremy knows him. Jay White. So Jay White in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Marcos, was like your old school type of heel. He's very good inside the ring, very smooth. I know it's a bad in terms of like heel work or whatever, but the way his style or approach to the game kind of reminds me of a Randy Orton. Very technical, very methodical.
Okay.
And he loves to be the bad guy. So I feel like right now Jay White is a heel. So I feel like if Punk is coming back and he's rumored to go against Jay White, he's gonna be back as a babyface. So
that makes a lot of sense for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him come back.
That's what I feel like you should do with Punk, though. You should just bring him back slowly and in a good way.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not gonna wrestle his first night back for sure.
Yeah, he'll probably come out of the ring,
I didn't think
scare off a couple people, he'll be like.
No, I didn't think he was coming back. I was trying to joke around when I said that I always knew he was coming back. But I really didn't think he was going to come back. This was really bad in the beginning. We were talking about lawyers getting involved, AEW doing a personal investigation, hiring like a PI. This was pretty serious for a while.
Right.
And we're still talking about people that are working in the same company that don't like each other.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting when he comes back. I really want to see what's gonna happen. He's probably gonna have an entrance to Chicago. He's gonna go in. Everyone's gonna cheer. He's gonna have a promo. I already think he's gonna have a promo, and I think they're gonna set up what's gonna happen. I think they're gonna have a setup for him already of who he's gonna wrestle. But I think it's gonna be. You're right. It's gonna be a promo.
It'll probably be a couple weeks before
he actually gets in the ring.
I think he's not gonna fight until I don't think he's gonna fight on like the show though. I think he's gonna fight on the next pay-per-view.
No, for sure.
No, I think he'll fight on TV. Sure. He has no problem wrestling. He's wrestled but his goal to join AEW was to. He said how much of an impact Eddie Guerrero had on him,
right?
Because Eddie Guerrero wrestled him when he was still coming up, and he said he wanted to be that kind of guy for AEW. And I feel like he was wrestling on a weekly basis in AEW. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool to see. I definitely think he's going to do the same thing. I would love to see him. The thing with AEW that WWE doesn't have as much, one thing that I enjoy about AEW is the fact that it has all types of styles of wrestling.
Right.
But I would ask you guys, now that we finished with the topic of CM Punk, one thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, what is your favorite wrestling match of all time?
My favorite. I don't know if I can. That's hard. You asked me on the spot. I have to think about that. But one of my favorite ones was John Cena versus Randy Orton, the Iron Man match.
That one was cool.
I think that took place back in 2009. But I remember because I think that was like. I think that was where their feud ended, right? I'm pretty sure that's where or was it an I Quit match? But either way, the Iron Man match. The Iron Man match was definitely like one of my favorite ones. It was very like intense, and it was a culmination of their year-long rivalry, or years at this point.
Yeah, they had a 2-year-long rivalry.
It was insane. It was the rivalry for the time, and
for sure,
it was such a great match. And I remember just coming out of it just like because at that point John Cena was still seen as like the Superman of WWE, right? And Randy Orton was the top heel. So it was kind of like crazy, like a crazy fight between the two, and I was just so invested in that. I was a kid, so it was like really crazy for me.
Those were such fun moments. You know what it is that Randy Orton went bald for no reason.
That actually that made him more intimidating, which was funny.
I didn't like it though. He looked weird.
That's the thing. It made him more intimidating.
He looked like a chopstick, bro. He looked like a chopstick, bro.
Yeah.
You know what about me? Dude,
he bald, nothing. He'd still be a handsome guy, bro.
So that's my pick. It's
solid pick. That was actually a crazy match.
I'm gonna pick 2.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Both of Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker WrestleMania matches.
That's a great pick.
They were perfect, and especially I remember when Shawn Michaels got eliminated at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think he had I don't know what number he was that year. I think he was in the first 2, wasn't he?
What's crazy about those 2 matches is they're both 10 out of 10 matches.
For sure,
they were both legendary matches from start to finish.
Right.
And it was crazy because Shawn Michaels, I think the year before that he had retired Ric Flair. So
yeah,
I think it was bittersweet because I've always loved Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn Michaels he's the greatest wrestling performer, not performer, but I would say performer. That's what I'm saying. He's one. I think he's it's hard to top him. It's hard to top guys like him and Ric Flair. Ric Flair just had that flag.
I don't think people realize pre-injury Shawn Michaels was so ahead of his time.
Man,
so ahead of his time.
You know what's crazy about the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels fight is the first one I thought was technically a better produced fight or match, but the second one was the more emotional, and I think the more in terms of storyline is probably definitely the better fight in terms of emotion, action participation and that. So yeah, those two are great. Actually, very good picks. Eric, how about you?
For me, it's different. So, as you guys know, I have a bunch of wrestlers that I really, really love. For me, one that holds a lot of place, a special place in my heart, Obviously, I didn't watch it when I was a kid because I think I was like only a couple years old. WrestleMania 19, Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah,
That was a
that's a great
legendary.
one. That's a really
Just
good one.
just because it was like they were both on the way out, specifically The Rock. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. It's still one of the best promos I've ever seen.
You think you're
It had the Limp Bizkit track, which was perfect. I think that was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time.
for sure.
And that was such a great main event. What an incredible match. That's a 10 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, I think for me it was the fact that those two, let's be honest, they're not the best. Like if you put them up, like next to each other, they have the same style in the sense that, you know what they're gonna do in the ring.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say.
But they have this chemistry that their personalities, like, The Rock was this very like he spoke in third person to himself, which was so creative. And then Stone Cold was like this, like, I'm gonna just fucking show up whenever I feel like it, do whatever I want, and I'm gonna get out.
It was such a great rivalry because those two are so entertaining.
Yeah, they were the Randy Orton and John Cena of their time.
Yeah, it's just they were so much fun, and they were like, I remember The Rock tried to sing, and then Stone Cold was like into it, and then it ended with like The Rock trying to get close to him, like obviously acting like he was his friend, and then he's like, never, ever, and then you saw his face change from like a friendly one to like a menacing, evil, sinister stare. Again, and then he rocked bottom, and then he started doing. It's just too entertaining, bro. It's one of the most iconic rivalries in wrestling. It's they produce some of the best matches. It was definitely a timeless rivalry for sure.
Now, if it comes to new gen, if you guys ever want to see a match to feel alive again, watch Kazuki Okada versus Kenny Omega.
Okay.
That was one of the greatest 5-star matches of all time. Man, that was like a masterpiece. You guys just gotta watch it when you get the chance. But yeah, I mean, to round up the podcast, this was a really dope one, boys. I feel like I can't wait for you guys at home, you guys listening or watching, to get like our initial. I want to know what you guys comment down below what you guys think is
your favorite WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Or on top of that, I also want to know what you guys think of Spider-Man Across the River.
Across the river. Yeah, we will be watching Across the Spider-Verse. Today is Friday. Technically the opening day. We will be watching it tomorrow, and the next episode of the podcast we will definitely be giving our thoughts on it. But if you do, you know what? Follow us on. I'm gonna have everybody sign out. But for me, follow me on Twitter and TikTok at DCS at DCS Marble. It's gonna be the same for both of them. You can also follow me on YouTube at Marble. Especially follow me on Twitter and TikTok. That's where I'm gonna be giving my initial impressions of Spider-Verse. That's something I'll be talking about tomorrow when I go see it. So yeah, this has been a great episode, guys. This is me signing out, Eric.
Yeah, and you guys can find me on YouTube as the Puerto Reaper. I'm definitely gonna continue to make videos on things that I love, especially stuff like everything we talked about on this podcast. Just for people to know, the DCS in our name stands for Determination Culminates Success. So I just want everybody to realize what DCS stands for. So please give us a shout out, give us a like, give us a follow, and on top of that, I want to give the best for last. Our favorite person on this podcast.
I appreciate it for being best for last, man. Especially after I've had a tough week,
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another day. You can follow my Twitter and my Instagram down below, dcs.germ. I'm gonna change my @ I'm gonna make a new @ for that, so you guys can follow down below. And I hope everybody has a good night. And
we're out.